Good evening. Today, almost 1 month after that oil spill, we have spent the day seeking real answers about those reports of progress in the Gulf. How much oil has really been stopped from leaking? Is the slick closer to or further from the shore? And by the way, a short time ago, President Obama ordered a special commission to investigate the cause of the spill. And we learned that the government's man in charge of regulating the drilling is resigning at the end of May. It is a fast-moving story. We have full coverage again tonight in the Gulf, and we begin with Ryan Owens in Venice, Louisiana. Ryan.
Good evening to you, Diane. We'll start with the first bit of good news anyone here has had in a very long time. Tonight, BP is siphoning roughly 1,000 barrels of oil up to the surface. That's happening now every day. Now, keep in mind that's only about 20% of this spill. But when everything else this company has tried has failed and failed miserably, they'll take a win, no matter how small. BP still can't stop this gushing pipe, but tonight the company says they have at least slowed it.
We're very encouraged by this, but this doesn't stop the flow. It just attempts to capture it.
The breakthrough came this weekend when underwater robots finally managed to stick a narrow 4-inch tube into that much larger 21-inch pipe spewing oil into the Gulf. The tube is acting as a straw, siphoning the oil up a mile-long pipe to a ship on the surface. BP says over time, they may be able to stop up to 80% of the oil. Critics call that wildly optimistic.
I don't think it's realistic that they're going to get a significant fraction of the leak into the containment vessel.
BP has surrounded the straw with a series of rubber stoppers designed to create a seal. A temporary fix greeted with skepticism on the idle docks of South Louisiana.
A little 4-inch pipe or whatever it is not going to do it.
It may have to do for now. BP's next hope, nicknamed the Top Kill, where concrete and mud is shot into the leak, won't be ready until the end of the week. Today, BP started drilling a second relief well. The first won't be done for 2 months. For those who call the Gulf Coast home, that feels like nothing short of an eternity. Ryan Owens, ABC News, Venice, Louisiana.
And to bring you up to date, in 28 days, how much has the slick grown and moved toward the mainland, the shore? Well, in fact, it has grown some, but so far it has not moved significantly toward those mainland beaches. And so far, there is no evidence that major seafood beds have been contaminated. Less than 24 confirmed cases in total of fish or wildlife encountering the oil. But the big question still remains, is something happening beneath the surface of the water, something affecting the entire ocean there? And Jeffrey Kaufman has been looking into that question today.
We set out in search of the slick. We found it just 2.8 miles offshore by tracking down the shrimp boats that have been commandeered to skim it up.
If you're imagining an oil slick that covers the ocean as far as the eye can see, it's not like that out here. Instead, you come across pockets of this brown goo, often separated by miles of apparently clean water, which is what makes it very hard to say just how much oil there is out here.
It's even harder to describe what is below the surface. There have been reports of what are being called plumes of oil deep in the ocean, some as big as Manhattan. The image so terrifying that one politician described it as a mushroom cloud. We tracked the reports of those plumes to this scientific research vessel out of Mississippi called the Pelican. But they did not find mushroom clouds.
It looks totally clear to the eye. The amount of oil in that plume layer is probably, the density, the concentration is probably pretty low. Again, we're going to know that more once we analyze these samples.
It is clear no one really knows what the impact of this oil will be. Best case scenario?
They could be dispersed and removed and just disappear.
Worst case scenario? Death and destruction of fish and coral as the oil eats what little oxygen there is.
Unfortunately, is a huge experiment in the seafloor of the Gulf, and we really don't have any idea how it's going to turn out. But we know it's not good.
There is oil out here, but in ways science has never seen before. Jeffrey Kaufman, ABC News on the Gulf of Mexico.